Hello there everybody, my name is Wattles, welcome, I hope you're doing well. Minecraft 1.14 Village and Pillage was, and still is, a really good update. There were loads of features added in the 1.14 update, and pretty much all of them tie into the game really nicely. From the semi-revamp of the crafting system to the entire revamp of the villagers to the addition of new features like raids, pretty much everything is good when it comes to 1.14. But that definitely doesn't mean there weren't any missed opportunities whatsoever. Today I have a small list made up of 4 things that I see as missed opportunities in the 1.14 update. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, turn that notification bell on, become a channel member if you want for some cool perks, and remember, this is all entirely just for fun. Now, we are going to begin today's list with actually an honorable mention of sorts. Of course, the smithing table and the fletching table are giant missed opportunities. They don't have any function whatsoever, but I thought it really wouldn't be fair to put these on the list because it's way too obvious. You guys are here for something a little more interesting. So yes, I'm aware of the smithing table and the fletching table and how they don't have a function. It's entirely a missed opportunity, but it's way too obvious of one. So that's there. Now moving on to spot number 1. So to showcase spot number 1, I have to unfortunately, what could we say? Befriend this nice sheep here. So, the sheep is hanging above the stonecutters. If we let the sheep fall a little bit, it'll take fall damage, but it won't take any damage from the stonecutters. Alright, maybe that's not the best example. Here I am standing on stonecutters, and it does not hurt at all. Does that make sense at all? No. Does everything have to make sense in Minecraft? Also no. But it hurts when you walk on magma blocks, and it hurts when you walk on brand new campfires, so what's the deal here? I don't think this would be very comfortable to stand on, and when these things were first added into the snapshots back in the day, I think I may have actually even said that hopefully these will deal damage eventually, and unfortunately, they never ended up dealing any damage whatsoever. It would certainly be a nice little quality of life, attention to detail thing if the stonecutter were to actually deal some damage. I believe stonecutters dealing damage could also have a little bit of a function as well, at least for people who care about the aesthetics of things. In all honesty, magma blocks are kind of ugly. Like, you put these things at the bottom of a slime farm or a mob farm or anything, and they're there and they work, but they just are kind of ugly, and campfires let off a bunch of smoke, so that's kind of annoying. The stonecutter, however, would look really good as a mob eliminating device. They would also certainly give this block some interesting properties. Maybe it's a little gruesome, but I see the stonecutter not dealing damage as a big missed opportunity. In case you haven't yet, meet the Ravager. The Ravager looks totally awesome, has some really cool attacks, an awesome looking mouth animation thing going on there, and it sure enough has an awesome drop, right? Like, one of the coolest things in the game. I could only imagine somebody who looks so sweet to drop something awesome like a horn or like an armor piece, and oh, it's a saddle! Thanks. The Ravager is really cool, but when it comes to drops, the Ravager lacks a lot. With the addition of this new semi-boss-like mob, Mojang had the huge opportunity of introducing a new game mechanic. Maybe introducing a new form of leather, even a way to maybe craft something like chain armor, but no, we got a renewable saddle source. Yeah. What I would have loved to see come from the Ravager is a Ravager horn drop. I made a whole video focused on this a few months ago, but the idea in short was to create a horn that would confuse mobs when used. This confusion thing would send nearly any mob into a villager-like frenzy. And by villager-like frenzy, I mean this, like when you punch them and they kind of start freaking out, like that. A way to intimidate any and all mobs in the game without actually having to deal any damage whatsoever. It is my belief that this horn would have tied into the raid mechanics almost seamlessly. The Horde would be a true raid deterrent, something that gives you a little bit more time to fend off the raid instead of having to lock some random villager in a house just so you can be sure that you actually can beat all 7 waves, or 5 or 3 waves depending on your difficulty. Saddles could already be obtained in a few different ways, whether it be fishing or looting the structures in the world. So to me, no matter how you look at it, the Ravager drop, that's gotta be a huge missed opportunity. Here we are over in a familiar world, the Minecraft guide world, for the third thing on today's list. Enchanted books, or just books in general, are difficult to store. Like, you have to lay them all out in a chest. If you're going for a library build, it kind of looks random, and things could certainly just be done better, right? The third missed opportunity on today's list is the bookcase, actually. With the addition of the solid barrel block in the 1.14 update, bookcases are, in my opinion, another area that could have been improved. The barrel introduced a solid block that actually can hold things. What I mean by this is you can totally build a wall out of barrels like you could with a bookcase. You can't see through it or anything, and you can actually interact with it. It would have been amazing to see an interactable bookcase introduced in the 1.14 update as well. Now, don't get me wrong, lecterns are amazing. They're really cool for displaying books and all. I'm not saying that should not be in the game, but if making a bookcase actually usable would be in any update, it would have made a whole lot of sense to be in the Minecraft 1.14 update, sort of alongside the addition of the interactable barrel. Now, maybe these interactable bookcases would have become the workstation block for the librarian, or maybe not. The lectern kind of covers that base very, very well. And maybe the bookcase's texture would change and slowly fill up as the contents inside of it slowly filled up. That's all totally up to you and your imagination. But I think everyone would agree that books, or enchanted books, are very difficult to store, and a bookcase wouldn't necessarily make it easier, but it would make things make a little bit more sense. I mean, hey, if we're talking about realism here, which we're not, bookcases are used to store books after all anyways. Maybe we get different variants, maybe we don't, but either way, interacting with these things would be amazing. And last, but certainly not least, at spot number 4 on today's list, we have the brewing stand. Now, why the brewing stand? What about it? Well, the crafting. Minecraft 1.14 changed crafting mechanics a little bit. The update saw the addition of blocks like the stonecutter, the loom, and the 2 furnace upgrades, the smoker and the blast furnace. Now, the 1.14 crafting blocks are pretty straightforward and easy to use. You put something in it and you can see everything visually. The old-fashioned crafting table has a visual recipe book. The furnaces, again, a visual recipe book, but the brewing stand, nothing whatsoever. You are still left to a bit of trial and error if you're trying to make anything. At the least, I think it would have made a little bit of sense to see the implementation of some sort of recipe book inside of the brewing stand. If not, then maybe a brewing stand revamp. Now, do I think this was necessary? Not entirely. I think the potion making is cool, and I like the whole trial and error aspect. But if we're talking about game continuity and things kind of making sense, then there would be a recipe book inside of the brewing stand as well. I mean, the loom lays everything out very visually, the stonecutter does the same thing as well. Again, like I said, the visual crafting book here, the very visual recipe books in all of the furnaces, but nothing when it comes to the brewing stand. The brewing stand is also a villager workstation block, so I would think that if there were going to be some change to this thing, it would have actually kind of fit within the 1.14 update. So it is for those reasons that a brewing stand revamp makes up spot number 4, the final spot on today's list. And with that, that concludes 4 of the biggest missed opportunities that I see or saw with the 1.14 update. What do you think? Do you agree with these ideas or do you disagree? Share your thoughts with me down in the comments below. Would you like to hear about more of my 1.14 ideas in a sequel to this video? If the answer is yes, let me know by dropping a like and maybe telling me in the comments down below. My name is Wattles. I hope you enjoyed this list video. I will see you next time. Maybe check out some of those links in the description and go have a good day. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye, everyone.